So that's a great thing to have on hand. Again, throw in your vehicle and move out. So this is something we want to be thinking about when it comes to preparing. We're not preparing just for ourselves. Hi, welcome to this video. The BR Coalition channel exists to help you and as many people as possible be better prepared, body, mind, and soul, for any crisis that may come your way. Today, we're going to talk about water, the importance of water, how to store that water, how to make sure we preserve it the right way, just in case we may need it in a crisis. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it with as many people as possible. Water, one of the most important things we need in this world. The human body is approximately 75% water. We need water. We wash dishes, we take showers, baths, we wash clothes, we wash our hands, we wash the vegetables when we cook. There's a number of different things that we use water for. It's estimated that the average American uses approximately 80 gallons of water a day when you factor in and average in all these other things that we're talking about. But at the bare minimum, 1 gallon to survive. Now, we can go roughly 3 days without water and we'll probably die. It's that serious because, again, the body's made up of about 75% water approximately. I want to encourage you to click the link in the description below to get a full list of the gear that we recommend to help store water, preserve water, and tips on saving water. So we've got to think about what we're doing for having water in our home, or if we're on the road, if there's a crisis of some sort, if we don't have access to water, emergency water, we're going to find ourselves in a world of hurt very, very quickly. Now, another thing to consider when it comes to crisis situations, people do things, very desperate things, when they're very desperate. We hear that term that desperate times call for desperate measures. Well, when people are in a crisis and they're starving to death, they're dying of thirst, or their family is in need of water, people will do desperate things sometimes. And if they don't have a moral grounding in their heart, relationship with God is what I'm talking about, those desperate things can become very bad. So we need to be thinking about how we can have water for ourselves and maybe help other people. You know, one of my favorite things to think about is when you find yourself in a situation where there's a crisis upon you, if you have some sort of plan of action, if you have something in the works that you've already prepared for, you can help stave off a growing problem. You can keep people from doing much worse things if you can bring them hope by providing even something as simple as a bottle of water. Let's look at a couple different things here to think about. Number one, if your water gets shut off in your town because a water main breaks, maybe you've had some serious natural disaster and your water treatment plant is flooded because of a hurricane or something of that nature, heavy rains, floods, and so forth. So you've got all these different issues that can shut your water off, and now you can't turn on your faucet and just have water come right out. You can't just hop in the shower. You can't just clean a wound. If you have a wound and you go to the faucet, a little soap and water, clean that wound out. But if you don't have access to that water, you could be in some serious trouble with that wound. So finding other ways to have extra water on hand to be able to cover these things is vitally important. So, do you have water storage in your home? And a variety of different ways to store that water for a variety of different reasons. Here's some things to look at. We've got a 55-gallon drum here. This is BPA-free plastic. This is the type of container that will hold water and the plastic is not going to leach into the water. Now, you can store water in a drum like this for long, long periods of time. You want to treat the water with something, preferably something that's not a chemical, something that's non-toxic. I like this aerobic stabilized oxygen. A few drops per gallon in stored water will store the water for many years. Some say as many as 10 years. I've never tested it for 10 years, but there are people out there who've tested it for 5 or 6 years, opened it up, taken a drink, and everything's been great. So it does work. This is a great little thing you can get. Check out the link in the description below and help you have access to that. But getting a jug such as this or container such as this, and there's various sizes, there's various configurations. A 55-gallon drum such as this, you can get longer ones. You can get some that can store in your wall. You can actually build a wall around it and have a storage container in the wall hidden, which is not a bad idea to consider as well. But that's a great way to have water if you have to stay in your home for long periods of time. You have access to water that you've treated and is stored up and kept safe. Now, if you have to get out of your home, you have to bug out, you have to leave for some reason. Maybe you've had some sort of situation where a train has derailed and chemicals are passing through your neighborhood and you've got to leave for several days. And maybe you can't get to a location that has water so readily available, or you don't want to tax that location if they do have water. Remember, the better prepared we are, the less of a burden, less of a tax are we on other situations, other emergency situations. If I've got extra food and water and I'm prepared in that way, then I don't have to rely on others, and they can use their emergency food and water and other supplies for other people who might not be prepared. So it's good for all of us to have some preparation when it comes to these things. But if I've got to run out of my house, I've got to get on the road fast for some reason, something makes me leave fast and I need to take water with me, I've got these jugs here. This Jerry style can, it's plastic, right? It's BPA free plastic. I've also got this Aquatainer, which I like the Aquatainer because you can unscrew this cap here and you can flip it over, screw it on the other direction, and now you've got a little spigot to use. That is a great piece of equipment to have on hand to store a lot of gallons of water. These are actually made to stack one on the other. So if you have several, they'll fit easily and nicely on top of each other. Throw them in the trunk of your car, throw them in the back of your vehicle, and you can hit the road. Having these prepared and stored up, you don't necessarily have to treat them with this. You can just change out the water, every several months or so before it starts getting nasty and undrinkable. So that's a great thing to have on hand. Again, throw in your vehicle and move out. You can get on the road fast. I also like the idea of having a case of water, individual bottles of water. Now, again, these are BPA-free plastic. Some stores are doing that. Some companies are making BPA-free plastic for these individual bottles of water. I really like this for a variety of reasons. One, I can just grab them when I'm heading out the door any day of the week. Just throw them, a few in the back of the car. I've got a little cooler I keep in my car, so even on hot days, they don't get to a point where they get too warm, all right? But I like to have them. I can hand them out to other people if someone else needs water. I've done that. If you've been out somewhere and someone looks like they really need water, you can give them a bottle of water. That's great. But in a crisis situation, if someone comes to my door and I'm protecting my loved ones and others that I feel I need to care for, that God may have entrusted to my care, if someone comes to my door, pounds on the door, needs some help, needs some food or some water, needs something to give them some hope, I want to have a plan to help them. Maybe I look at the situation, I have to vet everyone carefully and determine whether or not they should be coming into my home, whether or not it's a safe situation. I have to make that call. And if it doesn't look like a good call to let them in, but I don't want to just turn them away without giving them something that'll give them hope and help them get to the next location where they maybe can find more help, I can at least give them some water. A bottle of water, a couple bottles of water, 6 bottles of water. Give them some protein bars, a bag of beef jerky even. Give them some hope. So this is something we want to be thinking about when it comes to preparing. We're not preparing just for ourselves. We're preparing to help other people as well. Look at your water situation at home. Think about when it comes to the extra water that you use that we just flush down the drain regularly, not even thinking about it. Flip that little switch, that faucet there, that handle, and boom, water comes out of that faucet. Look, I've got all the water I need until the day something goes wrong and it's shut off. So it's important for us to really take seriously these basics, such as something so necessary as water, and take those steps to be better prepared so that we and our loved ones, those that God entrusts to our care in a variety of ways, we can be in better shape. So thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, share it with others, and of course, go on out and get yourself better prepared when it comes to water. God bless you and strengthen you. We'll see you again soon.